So you have your first harmonica in the key of C, and now you start to realize, wait, harmonicas come in different keys. Which second key should I get? And the quick answer is harmonica in the key of G. At least it's my answer, and I will tell you why. Two main reasons for this. The first one is I think that in many situations the key of G harmonica just sounds better and feels better to play. First of all, let's hear them. This is a harmonica in the key of C. Let's play the main octave, the middle octave, holes 4 to 7. And key of G. Much lower. So the key of G harmonica is actually, out of all the standard keys of diatonic harmonicas, is the lowest sounding one. The C harmonica is about right in the middle, and the highest sounding one is a harmonica in the key of F, or more correctly F sharp, but let's say F. Now, why does it matter? I think that in many situations the key of C harmonica sounds a little bit squeaky and too high, and the key of G harmonica just gives you a more earthy, balanced sound. It sounds really nice in many songs, again, not in all songs, but it gives you a great sound, for example, for country solos, for solos such as Heart of Gold by Neil Young, which is originally played on the key of G harmonica. If I would have to describe the sound of the key of G harmonica in one word, it would be earthy. Also, you would notice that when you play a harmonica in the key of G for the first time, it feels different. First of all, the sound is lower, but also you feel the reeds vibrating and everything is heavier. Since the reeds, what makes the sound inside the harmonica, is heavier and longer, so they also respond a little bit slower, and that might sound like a bad thing, but at least for me, moving from a key of C harmonica to a key of G, so the key of G feels more like a pocket saxophone, while this is just the regular harmonica. So the key of G gives you a bit of a different feeling, which is really fun to play with. Another thing, though, that you should know on the other side is that the key of C, it's right in the middle, and I think it has a great, very balanced sound, both for playing songs, which is what we usually play in what's called first position, and for playing the blues, which is what we call second position. And usually when we play the blues, it's more around the lower holes of the harmonica, around holes 1, 2, 3, and 4. And playing the blues on a key of G harmonica is, to me, not a very pleasant experience. I don't like to do it. So while the key of G can sound really great for playing songs, certain songs, I don't really like it for the blues. So this is something to know. Here's, for example, just a little blues lick on a key of C. And now on the key of G. Super slow to respond, even too low, too muddy, at least to my taste. So that was the first reason. In many situations it sounds better and it is more fun to play. Hey everyone, just real quick. Last week, after a year and a half of work, I released my new harmonica app to both app stores. It's called Harmonica in 7 Days. It is free to download and you can watch dozens of lessons for free. You have a songbook there with tabs to many awesome songs. And if you want to learn more seriously, this is where also you can find my courses about blues, about playing your favorite songs beautifully. Check it out. The second reason is that the key of G is also a very usable and very popular key. When you start going out and jamming with people, for example, friends who play the guitar or friends who play the harmonica, or just start to jam with your favorite songs, as in put them on YouTube and try to play along with them, you would notice that you would need to have the right harmonica key to fit the song that you're playing with. So just notice that as long as you're not playing with any sort of background music, it's just you and playing the song or opening up the tabs of a song, you can play with any harmonica key, any song. This is universal. But when you are playing with other people, you got to make sure that you have the correct key to match them. C.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me.
B.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me.
You don't need to be a musician to hear that this just doesn't work. There's no person that can hear this and think, oh, this is pleasant. This just sounds off when you're with the wrong key harmonica. So the key of C harmonica is great because it's also a very popular key. It accounts for around 15% of the popular songs that you can cover just with this harmonica. So even though there are 12 harmonica keys, just this one harmonica already covers 15%, the key of C harmonica, because there are many songs in the key of C major, which you can play with the C harmonica. And also with the key of C major, you can play songs in the relative minor key, which is A minor. So this is both covered here, and the key of A minor is around 5% of songs. So together this is 15% on this. And the second most common key is pretty much just with the same numbers is key of G harmonica, because there's about 10% of the songs out there which are in the key of G major. And also the relative minor key, which is E minor, has around 5% of those songs. This is this graph that I found. I know it's based on a study, and I actually agree with those numbers from my experience. So this is something that you can rely on. So just these two harmonicas cover around 30% of the songs that you will meet out there. So you can jam with your friends. It's just a very powerful pack to have in your bag. And also, just a side note, why are these keys so popular? So most songs are written on a guitar or a piano, and these keys simply contain chords that are easy and comfortable for guitarists and pianists to play. For example, the key of G has chords such as G, such as D, so that's where guitarists and pianists tend to play. For example, other keys like the key of F sharp, which as you can see is rare. It's just, for example, on the guitar chords that demand using a lot of bar chords in this key, so it's just less convenient. So this is just a side note, something to know about. Also, something that I want to say here is, wait, you're talking about keys, but how do I know which key a song is in? How do I know which harmonica do I need? So the easy answer is simply ask Google. For example, you go to Google and you say, what key is the song Let It Be in? And it will tell you, C major. And you will know that if you want to go to YouTube and open up Let It Be and jam with it and play the melody along, you would need a harmonica in the key of C, otherwise it would just not match it. Just for general knowledge, another possible way to know what key a song is in that works in around 95% of the times is just look at the chords of the song. And for example, Let It Be, you see that the first chord of the song is a C chord. In 95% of the times, that first chord is going to mean the key of the harmonica. So if the first chord is a C, you're going to need a C harmonica. However, as I said, it's usually just easier to ask Google, but it's also great to know the more technical solution. So this is it, and now I have a bonus for those of you who stayed up until here. Which third harmonica you want to get? And my answer is a harmonica in the key of A, which in terms of pitch, it is going to be right here between the key of C harmonica and the key of G harmonica. I'm going to just let you see how it sounds like on the middle octave, and then I'm going to explain why. So, key of C harmonica, key of A harmonica, lower, and then the key of G harmonica, lowest. Now, the key of A, why is it great? Because first of all, it's balanced for both playing songs in first position and playing the blues in second position. It's a great match for both, which unlike the key of G, for example, that I told you is not really good for the blues. It's too low for the blues. Also, the key of A is extremely popular among blues players. Why? If you like blues, you gotta have a harmonica in the key of A, because any guitarist that you would meet knows how to play the blues that matches your harmonica in the key of A, which is on the guitar is a blues in the key of E. Just in general, it's a blues in the key of E. Now, I know this might sound a bit confusing. Wait, harmonica in the key of A, why the blues is in the key of E? This is a technical thing about second position, not a topic for today's video. But anyways, every guitarist knows how to play a blues in the key of E because it's just the easiest blues to play on the guitar. It's the most natural one. So if you have a friend who plays guitar and likes the blues, 100% you tell him, let's play a blues in E major, and you have the correct harmonica for this, which is a harmonica in the key of A. One more bonus tip I have to give you. If you already have, let's say your key of C harmonica is, let's say, E stop lightning. This is the model that you have. So what I recommend for your second harmonica, go and be adventurous. Go and try another model that you haven't tried, even if you really like your current harmonica. Why? First of all, just because it's fun to try other harmonicas. Each one has a bit of a different feelings. We'll get out of you something new, a new playing style. This is what I believe. And as long, as you don't go to a cheaper harmonica, never buy anything cheaper than 20 bucks, for example, but as long as you buy something of high quality, which today means anything from around $25 and up, especially if you go $50, $60, very hard to go wrong at those price ranges. Just get something in the key of G, see how it feels. Also, I can tell you that personally, I have just in the key of C and in the key of G, for each one of those keys, I have around 5 different harmonicas of different models, different types, just because it's very common keys. So I like to play them, and oftentimes I just like to pick up different harmonicas, even though it's the same key, just because each one feels a little bit different.